and welcome back to Yarn on the Beach. This is episode 27 and it is back to chilly weather. We are in the 40s this morning and mild wind. Not super windy, but enough to put a bite on my skin. We have very friendly birds this morning. I've had two birds already come up. See that guy right there? He's been like within a foot of the edge of my blanket. And his friend, I don't know where his friend went, but two birds have come super close already this morning. As long as they don't bite me, I guess we'll be fine. Good morning, Elisa. Good morning, Miss Detroit. Happy MLK Day. Yes, happy Martin Luther King Day to you too. Ashley. Oh, hi Ashley, I remember when you came. Yeah, that would be wonderful if you could come again. Good morning, Ann. Good morning, Linda. Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining me. We've got a beautiful sunrise today. Like I said, it's chilly, but through the camera, it's still beautiful. It's in the mid-40s, I think, and windy, which is a little chilly for my taste. When the wind comes, it's pretty biting on my skin. Yeah, good morning. Good morning to you too. What a cutie. Hope everybody had a good weekend. Maybe you had some time to knit and crochet this weekend or work on some other type of crafting. If you did, let me know. I'd love to hear about it. Maybe you have the day off today to celebrate Martin Luther King Day. Thank you, Anna Maria. I'm worried that he thinks he's going to get food from me. The problem is a lot of tourists feed wild animals, and then the wild animals think that everybody feeds them, and I know it's not good to feed them. They're supposed to eat their own food. So it makes me feel bad, but there's nothing I can do about it. Fairy Dust Bunnies is knitting a hat. That's wonderful. For anybody that's interested in this hat and this cowl, these are done in two-color brioche stitch in the round in Be So Brave yarn. This is Orangesicle and Everglades, and these patterns are available on my website. Oh, Cheryl started the mesh market bag. That's fabulous. Somebody else asked a question while I was talking about whether or not I finished the photography on Saturday, and yes, I did finish the photography on Saturday. And I had a pretty out there idea for photography for the book, something I've never done before, and my idea worked. That does not always happen. When you have an out-of-the-box idea, it does not always come to fruition. And I'm really, really happy with the way the photos came out. So much so, good morning, Judy. Hi, Jenny. That I worked on the artwork for the front cover and back cover over the weekend. Have those done and came up with the title. I think the photography and the layout inspired me for the title. I've been stressing about a title for a very long time now, and I knew that the day would come when enough pieces would be put together that it would come to me. Good morning, Edna. That I finally came. The name finally came to me, so I've got the name, the front cover, and the back cover, and now all the photos are edited, ready to finish the final layout, then send it off to my editors, and then we're done. So excited. So as soon as I have more information, I will be sharing it. Woo. Oh, our little bird friend's staying. You're gonna stay today, huh? Thank you, Judy. Yes, I'm very, very excited about the book coming together. Very excited. Now that the photos are done, it's starting to feel a lot more real. really exciting. Oh, I brought yarn today. Hi Faye, good morning. I brought the same 2 swatches that I brought on Friday. I did a demo of the crochet swatch on Friday, and if you weren't here for it, you can go back and look. Oh, for those of you who were talking last week about your notifications not working, are they working today? Thank you, Fairy Dust Bunny. Yes, very exciting when, I mean, things don't fall together the way you want all the time, and that's okay, and it just makes it that much more special when they do, right? So on Friday, I did a demo of how to do this crochet Tunisian double crochet, and if you want to see the demo, you can go back and watch Yarn on the Beach 25. Okay, thanks, Ann. The notifications work today. And so here's the knit counterpart to that stitch. And you know what I was thinking is that some headbands would be really, really pretty in these stitches. So here's the knit counterpart to that stitch. And these yarns are one of the yarns that I hand dye myself in my studio. This is called Be So Bold. It's organic cotton and bamboo blended together in a worsted weight. This colorway is called Sophia's Serengeti Sunrise, and this colorway is called Mia's Malachite Meadow. I showed you how to do the Tunisian double crochet on Friday, Yarn on the Beach 25. Yes, Edna, it's really cold. In my opinion, it's Fahrenheit 45, I think, and windy. Well, and that's what it was at my house. It's probably a little bit colder here at the beach. So to do the knit version of that stitch, not that it's a version, they're both completely different stitches, but they have a similar look to them. Let's see if I can get this on camera. Oh, there we go. Okay. I'll do my best. I'll do a proper tutorial. Let's see. We do it over here. Does that work better? I can't see what I'm doing. Yep, that's not right. Okay, I can't even see what I'm doing. Okay, so we're going to knit the first stitch. Then the repeat is to knit 2, to bind off 1, knit 1 to bind off a second stitch, then slip 1 to bind off a third stitch. Then that's the repeat. So we'll knit 2 to bind off 1, knit a second one to bind off 2, slip a third one to bind off 3. Then we'll go back and start the repeat again. Knit 2 to bind off 1, knit 2 to bind off, or knit 1 more to bind off the second one, slip 1 to bind off the third one. And we'll start the repeat once more. Knit 2 to bind off 1, knit another one to bind off 2, and slip the third one to bind off 3. And so that's the end of our first row of the stitch pattern. The second row is to knit 1, and across the row we repeat yarn over, knit 1, yarn over, knit 1, yarn over, knit 1, yarn over, knit 1. Okay, so that's row 2 of our repeat. Row 3 is to knit across. And that's what row 3 looks like. Row 4, we're going to knit 1, knit into the yarn over space 2 rows below, knit 2. Knit into the yarn over space 2 rows below, knit 2, and repeat that across. Knit into the yarn over space 2 rows below, knit 2, knit into the yarn over space 2 rows below, knit 2. Okay, and that's what the end of that row looks like. And then our last row of the repeat is to knit 1, knit into that big yarn over space 3 rows below now, knit 3. Knit into that yarn over space 3 rows below, knit 3. Knit into that yarn over space 3 rows below, knit 3. Knit into that yarn over space 3 rows below, knit 3. And that's our repeat for the stitch pattern. It's very unusual, but a lot of fun once you get going, and I love the effect it gives you. So I think it'll be amazing for shawls, wraps, all sorts of open, loose work, stuff like that. But I think it'd be really great as a headband too. Like if you made it really long and wore it over your, see, I'll take this off for a second. So you can imagine if it was on your head like that and then tied under your hair and then dangled down the back. I think that would be really pretty. But I'm putting my hat back on because I'm cold. Ooh, bird. Good morning, Tammy. Thanks for joining me. DJM said she loves the crochet sample. Wet and windy in UK with Jeannie. Burr. Thank you, Kim. I'm glad you love the colors. The Tunisian stitch is called Tunisian double crochet, and I have videos and patterns with that stitch on my website already. The knit version, I have a pattern in this in one of my older knit books called A Knitting Rhapsody, and I'm trying to think if I've used it. Oh, and I have used it in a knit pattern on my website. There's a top-down increase triangular shawl in this stitch pattern called, or is it on there or not? It may not be out yet. It might be something that's in the works for a project. So anyway, I'll do a tutorial video on the stitches for sure, whether or not we have a pattern. In fact, I might just do a headband just so I can do the tutorial for this one right away. I think that'd be a really cute headband. I'd wear it once I don't need a hat, that's for sure. So I'll post links to anything that I have with these stitches in them already when I do the show notes for today. And just a reminder, when I do the show notes, that means I'm going to put links to anything I remember that we talked about in the video description. So if you want to come back later and look at the video description box of this video, I'll have all those links in there then. Elizabeth made some market bags this weekend for little ones. Oh, little ones for glasses, and I missed the other part, but that's a good idea. I'm trying to think. Oh, I have one market bag with me today. I can show you it. This is the Sand Dollar market bag. I have this one. There's a couple of them on my website. This is the one with the square motifs that are joined on the diagonal, so it's more diamond formation, which gives you the pretty peaked edge for the straps. I love this one. I think this would make gorgeous clothing with those motifs too. I would love that as a tank top. Ooh, the sun's starting to hit the water, so pretty. So pretty. I suppose I could do a quick demo of the crochet stitch too, so you can see a comparison side by side. Okay, so for the crochet stitch, we're going to start with a chain 2. And then we're going to be working in those elongated stitches from the row below. So we're going to yarn over, insert our crochet hook in that elongated stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, and do that across the row. Yarn over, insert your hook in that elongated stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, pull through 2, and we'll repeat that all the way across. This is what I call a Tunisian double crochet. Okay, so we've got all of our stitches on the crochet hook. So now our return row is yarn over, pull through 1, then yarn over, pull through 2. And it's the yarn over, pull through 2 that we repeat across the entire row. Isn't that great? So easy. I've done Afghans in this stitch and done them in just the fraction of the time of a regular Afghan. In fact, the one that I did, I was on vacation at my sister's house in Arizona when she lived there, and she lived off-grid, and so it was very remote. And I brought some chunky weight yarn, a giant Tunisian crochet hook on a cable, and I changed 128, and I knit at least a full-size bed, if not a queen-size bed blanket in 3 days. Oh, somebody ordered something and I don't see what they said. Elizabeth asked how the photo shoot went Saturday. It was amazing. It turned out exactly the way I wanted. I'm super excited. It inspired me to do the cover art for the front and back cover. It inspired me to come up with the name for the book. And so I'm really feeling like we're almost in the home stretch of the book now. It's extremely, extremely exciting. And here comes the sun. Yay, it should warm up a couple degrees once the sun's here. So anybody who wasn't here on Saturday for Yarn on the Beach 26, I wanted to go to a really special beach location that I happen to love, but you can't get there easily. Where are you? Oh, thank you, Christine. She bought some yarn that I dyed. I'm so glad that you're enjoying it. Christine makes some really beautiful things with my yarn. She's been sending me some photos and they're just stunning. Linda ordered some crochet hooks. Great. Maria, good morning. Thank you for joining me. So the beach, we're at Barefoot Beach, the beginning of it right now. Oh, I forgot to show you guys the beach this morning. So if you go all the way down there, maybe 4 miles or so, that's the beginning of Barefoot Beach Preserve, which is a state park that doesn't open up till 8 o'clock in the morning. And there's the beach in the other direction. Kind of got it to ourselves again this morning, so lucky. And so once it opens at 8, then you drive another couple of miles, and then there's access to the beach along the whole way. And then at the very end of the parking lot, there's a very jungly and tiny dirt path that's not even bikes are allowed. You can only walk it, and it's 1.5 miles to the edge of the beach that butts up to an inlet called Wiggins Pass. And so you have this 270 degrees of waterfront there, and it's just so beautiful. So there's back bay water, there's mangroves, there's beach, and it's just so remote. So I decided that that's where I wanted to do the book photography, which meant I had to carry a box of all of the sample garments. I had to carry all of my camera equipment. I had to carry wardrobe, makeup, hair, although I didn't remember all that stuff. And I decided to take my phone with me and YouTube Live the walk down there so that you guys could enjoy not only my favorite walking path in Southwest Florida, but you could also see the contrast of when we go from this jungly path to where the beach opens up, and it's one of my favorite things to do. And so I was excited to share it with all of you, and hopefully if you were able to join me, you enjoyed it. I know I wasn't the most graceful. I was huffing and puffing the whole way, but I was super excited, and I was really excited to share it with all of you. So if you didn't get a chance to see it and you're interested, it's Yarn on the Beach 26, and you can find it on my channel. I'm not going to share the photos yet. I really want to get the book complete first. Oh, Linda, I actually use my iPhone for almost everything, and then I have an attachment camera to my iPhone, and it's called the DxO, and I'm going to post a link to it in the video description this morning too. I'm going to share it in my Amazon shop and then show you where I buy it. It is unbelievable. I used to buy more professional cameras that were a lot more money, but this DxO is an attachment that I put right onto my iPhone, where my iPhone is the viewfinder and it's the camera. And since I got it a couple years ago, it's all I use for professional photos anymore. So I really love it, really highly recommend it, and the entire book will have been shot on this little tiny iPhone attachment camera, which sounds crazy, but it's, I don't know, it's revolutionary as far as I'm concerned. And I learned about it from a professional photographer that I know who has hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of camera equipment, and even he loves it for certain applications. So that's something. So I'll definitely share that in the show notes this morning as well. I took my shoes off. That was not a good idea. Not used to cold weather. Don't know if you noticed how deep the beach is this morning. It's definitely low tide. We've got about twice as much beach as normal. Oh, thanks, Edna. Yeah, I was so worried about snakes, and on the way back, when you guys weren't with me, like after the photo shoot, the walk back, I actually heard stuff in the bushes. Oh, Linda uses her Samsung, which has a great professional mode for a camera. That's amazing. Amazing. It used to be so much more work to carry heavy camera equipment around, plus the lenses, and I never did figure out how to do that with a tripod. So I just feel like it's opened up a whole new world for me using a small camera that works with my phone. It ends up being way easier for me, and since photography isn't my focus business, it's the side business that supports my focus business. It's something that I don't have the time or inclination to spend a whole lot of time learning. So for it to be easier makes my life and my business that much easier. I get better photos on that with less fussing than I used to with my professional camera that had to fuss with a lot, if that makes sense. So it's just, I'm sure that I could get better photos with the big one. Oh, Pam, you're not rude. I'm in Southwest Florida. I am on the West Coast, about as far south as you go in Florida. Right now we're on the border between Bonita Springs and Naples, and this is the Gulf of Mexico behind me. Don't ever feel rude to ask questions. You're always welcome to ask questions. Always. Somebody said to me, somebody asked a question yesterday and said, sorry for the dumb question, and then said her question. And I immediately told her there is no such thing as a dumb question. All questions are relevant. If you're confused about something, always ask. If I have an answer, I will be more than happy to share it with you. Yeah, the beach is absolutely beautiful today, Faye. And I keep thinking to myself, wait till you guys see when it's warmer. Some days, it actually looks like we're on the Caribbean, in the Caribbean somewhere. It gets more tropical here when it warms up. Maria wants to know what time I wake up. I wake up about 5:30 every morning, And actually yesterday I worked 15 hours, which is even, I mean, I work 7 days a week, but I don't normally work 15 hours on a Sunday, but I worked 15 hours yesterday. I have to take my dad to a doctor's appointment today, and I have to block off 5 hours to do it. So I tried to compensate and get extra stuff done yesterday, but I think working so much on a Sunday didn't do well for my head. I ended up not being able to sleep last night, so I feel like I'm a little behind today, but I wake up at 5:30 every day, and I go to sleep anywhere between 9:30 and 11:30 at night. Depends on how hard I'm working and how much I can get done before I literally pass out. But between being a single mom, a homeschooling mom, an entrepreneur in a business that is labor intensive, and the sole driver for my son and all of his activities. I juggle a lot every day. I'm more than happy to juggle everything that I do. Oh, Pam has another question. Yeah, Maria, I couldn't do what I do if I didn't get enough sleep, so I try really, really hard. And the older I get, the harder I try to be good about sleep. Pam had another question. Edna thinks my life's too hectic. Yeah, it's not for everybody, that's for sure. Elizabeth, I'm so glad you can join us. This is great. Well, I'm not seeing the question from Pam. All right, well, hopefully we'll see it. And working on an England flag. Pam is working on an England flag and hates the way it's coming together or joining together. I'm not quite sure what you mean. I don't know if it's motif and you don't like the way they're joining together. If you're working the different color sections of the flag, if you're joining them or you're changing colors, I guess I'll need you to be more specific about what's not coming together, because I'd be happy to help if I can. You don't like the colors? You're welcome, Christine. I'm happy. If I can answer the questions, I will. I'm not the expert on everything, but if I have an answer for you, I'm more than happy to share my knowledge with anybody. Elizabeth says, love yourself first. That's always a good reminder. Always. Woo. Jeannie, I'm glad I can get your mind off the mud and slush for a while. Oh, I think Pam was asking about how to join two colors with making them neater. It might have to do with your tension. I don't know if you're knitting or crocheting or what sort of technique you're using, but often I think you might be able to tighten it up a little bit at the joins. I think if you have that intention of being a little more snug when you're switching colors, you can sometimes clean it up, and it will come with practice. Jenny's asking how long I've had the Panera knitting group. Good question, and I looked it up last week. We're coming up on our 1-year anniversary in February. I thought it was February 8th, but I think it's somewhere in the 20s. So I'm gonna have to see if I can think of some fun way to surprise everybody that night to celebrate our anniversary. Haven't thought of anything yet. You're welcome, Pam. Give that a try and tell me if next time you join, let me know how it works, okay? When I've done color work where I change in the middle of a row, that's what I have found works for me, is to just, because you don't want to pull too tight, right? If you pull too tight, then you have another sort of eyesore. So you want to make sure that you have the intention of being more snug there. But through experience and trial and error, you'll find what's too much and what's not enough, but having that intention to be more taut at the joins will give you a cleaner color change, I think. All right, we've come up on the end of our time here this morning. I have to get going and get a bunch of stuff done today. Yes, Joni, practice, practice. Practice makes perfect for sure. So let's just take this last minute to soak in the sounds of the waves and these beautiful colors for just another minute or so. Set our intention for the day. That is the prettiest sound on earth. Thank you all so much for taking the time out of your day to join me. Let us create, share, and inspire today and every day. I'll see you soon.